right, so I want to start with Nick. Going down the line, let's talk about your characters. Tell everybody who you're playing and what their thing is.
All right, so hello, everyone. Nicholas. And I play Guy Anatol. Firstly, I just want to say this is incredibly exciting for me, but also for everybody here, I'm sure. You all seem like incredibly lovely people. Thanks for having us here. But yeah, I play Guy Anatol, who is a lonely, quite complex character who does and has lived kind of on the fringes of society. He's quite sensitive and gentle, but more of a skeptic about the rest of the world. He's come from a kind of a hardship growing up, adopted, and he's found himself, luckily, in Ivy League schools. And it isn't until our first episode that he meets this woman, Helen, from the Talamasca. And it's here that she tells him that his entire life has actually been a lie. And everything that he has worked towards is not real. It's being set up for him. He's being groomed by the Talamasca. And so he has to start again and realize that he has to go after who he truly is. And he has this one thing, this special gift, is that he has the ability to read minds. That's quite a difficult thing for him to come to terms with, because I think for a lot of his life he believed that he had a mental illness, a debilitating illness. But when Helen tells him that that is actually his ability to read minds and that he can hear the voices of other people, he starts to use this skill as he moves forward on his search for who the hell he is. And that's where we start. That's where we meet Guy. And it's a pretty wild ride from then on, up for the 6 episodes. But he's a beautiful character, and I hope you enjoy watching it.
So I play a character called Olive, who is a master spy. She's a master of disguise and mystery. And she is Guy's handler. So when Guy comes to London, she's basically responsible for him and has to kind of teach him the ways, which is, it's a bit of a handful off the top. This poor boy is being thrown into everything. And she's brilliant. And she wants to make sure that her brilliance does not go to waste. And so she's a woman of the grey areas. And there's a lot of sort of grey in our story between good and evil, truth and deception. And you're never quite sure who's on which side.
Hi, I'm William Fichtner. I'm Before I left to go to England, I was fitted for teeth. I really wasn't sure what that was about. I found out when I got there. Jasper is just an awful lot of fun. And he has issues with some people and elements of this story, and that's why he is there and he is going after them. Now, in the process, he meets some wonderful friends. Hey, Ned. And, it's quite a ride, and I can't wait for you to see it.
Unlike Guy, she knows the supernatural world, and she doesn't trust the supernatural world. And so she's become a bit of a recluse with time, and so she's chosen a specific coven that lives on the Regent's Canal in London. And that suits her very well, because it's a place that's safe, it's a place of people who are kind, a sort of sorority. And then unfortunately, she gets yanked out of that world because of the plot. That's all I'll say for now.
Because of the plot.
Because of the plot.
I do love that she was described as an old soul who lives on a houseboat.
Yes, it's rather unconventional, but she's very happy there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We also saw Mark and John, we saw in the clip a familiar face, Jason Schwartzman, who we get to meet very early on, but talk about this guy because he is a character.
Yeah, when I was writing the first episode, I thought if you had a skeptic or someone who didn't believe in vampires or witches, and were told that they were in fact true, the first question I would have is, well, can I meet one? And so I knew I had to write that scene. I wrote a scene thinking about how do you present your first vampire in the show, and I didn't want it to be too conventional, and so I started thinking way outside the box to the possibility of a kind of turncoat vampire who lives in a penthouse in the Dakota in New York City, and said, well, that's already an odd vampire. And then I wrote the scene where he is quite literally bopping around the room, and he's quite entertaining and fashionable. And then we thought, who are we going to get to play this character? And I had worked with Jason Schwartzman before on Saving Mr. Banks, and so I ran it by these guys, and they liked the idea. And so I called Jason and said, hey, you want to play a vampire? And he said, when do I show up? He was down for it from day one, has continued to be so excited. He just texted me 20 minutes ago and said, tell me all about it. So he was a joy to work with, and he makes a great person.
Nicholas, how was it? You know, because Guy is he's a little bit reserved. He is obviously a little meat in this new world. And then to come up against the characters that Jason plays and Eric plays, like how is filming that like? Getting this guy surrounded by these way bigger than life characters.
Well, I think as we know from what I've said, he has a skeptical outlook on life. So when he comes into contact with Burton, which Jason plays, Jason really has this joie de vivre, this kind of large-than-life personality that it's very hard to decipher if it's kind of showmanship or it's legitimate vampirism. So I find that was quite a fun way to play it because it could just be smoke and mirrors, this guy could just be a loony, or he could genuinely be a vampire. So that's where it kind of makes that decision. It isn't until he starts doing things that are accurate as a depiction of a vampire, that you begin to realize that this guy actually could be legit. That kind of playfulness that Jason brings to it compared to, say, what Eric brings to it, which is a very dark and quite intense feeling, to perform is like chalk and cheese. Eric is an incredible actor, as you all know, but that was a hell of a scene that we put together. I think that we had a good time, Eric. We had a good time.
We had a great time. Great time. I mean, most of the time was me being in character, so we didn't get to really know each other. We got to know each other here, but yeah, it was. You are a thorn in my side, so that was what our experience. That was that.
Guy also seems to be a thorn in Jasper's side. From the clips we just saw, and you mentioned being fit for teeth. I'm assuming he is a vampire?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but he's a thorn in my side today. No, you know what? That is truly part of the joy of an experience like this, because the world that these guys have taken us in, I mean, I've never played anything like this. I mean, and I don't think you've ever played anything like that before interview, right?
I'm doing things I've never done before. I love it. It's a great way to fly.
It's a great way to fly. So each script that came out, it was just a joy to see where we were going to go. I did notice whenever there were exterior shots, I was like, damn it, I'm going to be up late tonight. Because I'm not shooting during the day.
Yeah.
It's true, as soon as any vampire was introduced into this show, we stopped shooting days and we started shooting 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. and it was a hell of a night.
Yeah, it sure was.
Well, is Jasper, given his proclivities, and his clearly maybe not nicest side, connecting to otherworldly creatures?
I'm not sure of the question.
Is Jasper linked to something other than vampires?
I love San Diego. I love with a film called Drive Angry, and I think that answers the question.
Okay, there we